What is going away in 2025? Well, first of all, in my over 30 years of working on kitchens, I've seen lots of trends come and go. And I have my predictions of what's going to go away, and this is based on my experience. By the way, at the very end, I'm going to have a bonus one that might surprise you on what I'm going to suggest is going to go away because of how popular it is right now. All right, so let's jump in. All right, so number one, and this isn't in any necessary order, a walk-through pantry is something I think is going to go away for the premium and select space designs. Let me clarify, a walk-through pantry door. The reason why is it's a lot of expense and a lot of energy and a lot of space when the evolution is going to either what they call a hidden kitchen, or I sometimes have referred to it in the past as a butler's kitchen, or a behind kitchen, or a kitchen behind the kitchen, or the working kitchen, okay? The kitchen where some of the dirty stuff goes in these nicer homes where maybe you have a presentation kitchen for the great room, and you got the working kitchen behind it, which has, you know, the lion's share of your maybe your cleanup space and your preparation space. Maybe you still have the nice hood out in front, etc. So the pantry or walk-through pantry door, I think, is going to go away because we don't want that interference with the space. They have proven in the past with the wrong hinges or the wrong setup to be problematic because sometimes they start to sag. There's lots of other factors with them as well. Cabinet doors are not designed to be that big, and so now if you use a regular door, number two, this is going to surprise you, wood hoods. So when I first got in the industry, there were versions of wood hoods out there. This is in the 90s, early 90s, I'm sorry, mid 90s. But here's the reason why I think the wood hoods are going to evolve out. Already you're seeing it happen, and that's the reason why I know. Number one, the appliance hoods are starting to get more trick and much more attractive and really unique in their focal point design. But more importantly than that is people want to have something that's the focal point. Whether they're using plaster, whether they're using marble or quartz or some sort of surfacing material like they'd use on their countertops to give it that gorgeous, really permanent feel. Excuse me. However, there is one other aspect of ventilation that sometimes we don't talk about, and that is the virtually invisible ventilation. And so for the people who perhaps, maybe in some codes in some cities eventually, they'll have it so you can have your cooking underneath your windows. You don't want to have window coverings around your windows because they're flammable, and then have your virtually, unobtrusive ventilation, in the ceiling with the perimeter, fan or intake. By the way, if you disagree with anything, which I expect some of you to do, because this is predictions, or if you see some other stuff that you think is going out and you're wondering what I think about it, enter in the comments and I will personally respond to those things, okay? All right, the next one. This might not surprise some of you, but floating shelves. Floating shelves have been stunning and beautiful. They've had about a 10-year run. Most of your trends typically are 7 to 9 years. Most of your fads are 3 to 5 years. It's been much more than a fad. There's a couple problems with floating shelves, and I will probably do a segment just about floating shelves in much more depth later. One of the biggest problems with floating shelves is they don't adjust, right? We're used to storage now in cabinets that we can adjust to height. If you go to put your oil bottle, for your cooking, say maybe it's olive oil, and you go to put that on a shelf, and it doesn't quite clear by a half an inch, in a cabinet, you take the other shelf and adjust it up, or you find a space for it to go, but at least you have the option to adjust it up. Well, on a floating shelf, you don't have that option. Now, maybe somebody will come out with floating shelves that are mounted to some sort of bracket in the wall that gives it at least a 1 inch up and 1 inch down of flexibility when you have a 3-inch shelf. I don't know. That could be something that could be invented. There's one other problem. They're not always really well secured. Now, most cabinet companies, most contractors will be very diligent and careful about how they mount floating shelves. But I've seen plenty of them fail, and that concerns me. When I recommend floating shelves to clients, I recommend them to be adjacent to at least one wall or one cabinet. That way it gives an anchor on two sections, the back and one side at a minimum, to give it that security or structural stability. But nonetheless, I think that they're going out just because of those factors. Now, maybe when they come back around the second time, they'll be flexible or they'll have other adaptations for our uses. But that's my prediction. Okay, last one I promised you, which is a little bit of a surprise. LVP. Now, let me clarify. LVP is a beautiful product. We've got that down here in the showroom. I'm talking LVP floating floors. Now, there are some floating floors that might still stick around. Maybe your engineered wood floors. You're talking 3/8 to 1/2 inch thick. It seems like at one point I even did a 3/4 inch floating engineered wood floor, but I may have to verify that. I don't know that those are around anymore, or if they ever were, I might be off. Floating floors, I have a whole video just about floating floors, but I do believe that they're going out. So if you fall in love with an LVP, maybe ask the provider if it's available in a glue down option. Now, my understanding is the market right now has glue down or floating, but I believe recently I was talking to somebody who said that there's a hybrid option out there where you have the option of gluing it down or floating it. There's a few factors such as the underlayment, whether or not you're putting paper down, and other factors for a moisture barrier. So just have that conversation with the right parties when you are considering that. But there's some issues with floating floors. Watch my other video. I'll put the link in the comments below or in the description. But please, if you like the video, you know what to do. Thanks you guys for watching. Take care.